Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sunlight disappeared forever? Imagine descending deeper and deeper into the ocean. The blue water slowly turns black. The warmth vanishes. The pressure rises so much that it could crush steel. Every sound disappears and a strange silence takes over. Then you realize something terrifying. The deeper you go, the less you understand. For centuries, humanity has crossed deserts, climbed mountains, and even stepped onto the moon. We have built cities, created machines, and explored distant planets. Yet even today, we know more about the surface of Mars than we know about the deepest parts of our own oceans. Why? What could possibly be hidden in a place where sunlight has never reached? How can creatures survive in complete darkness? Why do some of them have transparent heads, glowing bodies, enormous jaws, and eyes that seem almost alien? And perhaps the most frightening question of all, what if we still haven't discovered the largest creatures living beneath the surface? Scientists estimate that millions of marine species remain unknown. Every year, strange creatures emerge from the darkness, forcing us to question everything we thought we knew about life on Earth. Some of these animals look as though they came from another world. Others seem to have remained unchanged for millions of years. A few are so strange that scientists still struggle to understand how they survive. But this journey is not only about terrifying monsters hiding in the abyss. It is also a journey into the greatest mystery on our planet, because somewhere beneath the crushing pressure, endless darkness, and freezing waters, life found a way to flourish. Tonight, we are diving into the deepest parts of the ocean to discover the creatures that should not exist, the predators that rule eternal darkness, and the secrets hidden thousands of meters below the surface. So, before we begin, take one last look at the sunlight. You won't see it again for a very long time. We take one final breath and begin our descent. At first, everything feels familiar. Sunlight dances across the surface of the water. Schools of fish move like silver clouds, and the ocean seems calm and welcoming. Then we sink deeper, 20 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters. The world around us begins to change. The warm blue water slowly fades into darkness. The sounds of the world above disappear. The waves, the wind, the birds, and the sunlight become distant memories. Now it is just us and the endless abyss. We continue downward. 300 meters, 500 meters, 1,000 meters. The pressure is now so immense that a human body could never survive here without protection. Yet somehow, life exists. Suddenly, a strange blue light appears in the darkness. It moves. Then another light appears, and another. Within seconds, we realize that these are not stars. Something is watching us. Enormous eyes emerge from the black water. Transparent bodies drift silently around us. Strange mouths filled with needle-like teeth open and close in the darkness. Creatures that seem to belong to another planet slowly reveal themselves before disappearing once again into the abyss. This is the Midnight Zone, a world where the sun has never existed, where survival itself seems impossible. But the deeper we go, the stranger everything becomes. Far below us, hidden beneath thousands of meters of water, something else is waiting. Something ancient, something powerful, something that has ruled these waters for millions of years. And we are getting closer with every second. The last traces of sunlight have disappeared. Above us, the world of human beings continues as usual. Cities are full of light. Cars move through crowded streets. Airplanes cross the sky. Millions of people are eating, sleeping, talking, laughing, and living their ordinary lives. But down here, everything is different. As we continue our descent, it feels as though we are leaving Earth itself. The darkness grows heavier with every meter. 2,000 meters, 3,000 meters, 4,000 meters. The pressure around us is now so immense that it would instantly destroy an ordinary submarine. The water temperature falls close to freezing. The silence becomes almost unbearable. Then something unusual happens. A flash of blue light appears to our left. Another appears on our right. Then hundreds of lights begin to glow around us. For a moment, it feels as though we are floating through the stars. But these are not stars. These lights are alive. Tiny creatures drift silently through the water. Some use light to communicate. Others use it to hunt. A few use it to hide from predators, moving somewhere in the darkness below. Suddenly, everything becomes quiet. Too quiet. The lights disappear. The water becomes black once again. Then we hear a faint movement. Something large is swimming nearby. We cannot see it. We can only feel its presence. Our lights sweep across the darkness, searching for movement. Nothing. Then, for a brief moment, two enormous eyes reflect the light. A shadow passes beneath us. Its body is almost invisible. Its mouth is larger than its head. Its teeth are long, thin, and curved inward like thousands of tiny hooks. Within seconds, it disappears. Scientists have discovered hundreds of creatures living in these depths, but they believe millions more remain unknown. Entire ecosystems may still exist without human beings ever seeing them. As we descend farther into the abyss, the ocean floor remains hidden beneath us. 5,000 meters, 6,000 meters. The pressure continues to rise. Then another strange shape appears. At first, we believe it is a rock, but the rock begins to move. Slowly, enormous arms unfold into the darkness. 1, 2, 3, 8. A giant octopus emerges from the black water. Its skin changes color in an instant. Its enormous eyes stare directly at us. Every movement is slow and deliberate. For millions of years, creatures like this have survived in one of the harshest environments on Earth. No sunlight, very little food, endless darkness. Yet life continues. As we move forward, strange particles drift through the water like snow. Scientists call this phenomenon marine snow, but there is nothing magical about it. These particles are fragments of life itself. The remains of plants, animals, and microscopic organisms slowly sink from the surface into the darkness below. Every creature living here depends upon this endless rain of organic material. Without it, almost nothing could survive. Suddenly, an unfamiliar sound echoes around us. Our instruments begin to react. Something enormous is moving beneath us. The shadow rises slowly upward. Its outline becomes clearer. Its body is longer than a bus. Its eyes are larger than dinner plates. Its tentacles stretch endlessly into the darkness. The giant squid. For centuries, sailors believed creatures like this were nothing more than legends. Ancient stories described enormous monsters dragging ships into the depths of the ocean. People laughed at those stories. Then scientists discovered that some legends were true. Even today, giant squids remain among the most mysterious creatures on Earth. No one knows exactly how many exist. No one knows how long they live. No one knows what secrets they still hide. But something even stranger is waiting for us. We continue our journey downward, 7,000 meters. The ocean around us feels endless. Then we notice movement directly ahead. A face slowly emerges from the darkness. Its nose is long and flat. Its jaws extend forward with terrifying speed. Its skin appears ancient. This is the goblin shark. It has existed for millions of years. While continents changed, mountains rose, civilizations appeared and disappeared, and entire species vanished from the planet, this extraordinary predator continued to survive. It is a reminder that the ocean remembers everything. The deeper we travel, the more we begin to understand an unsettling truth. The world above belongs to humanity, but the world below never did. Down here, human beings are visitors. Every creature has evolved to survive conditions that would destroy us within seconds. And yet, we continue, because somewhere beneath us lies the greatest mystery of all, the bottom of the ocean, a place so remote, so hostile, and so unknown that fewer people have visited it than have walked upon the moon. The darkness around us becomes even deeper. For several minutes, nothing moves. The water is silent. Then our lights reveal something extraordinary. At first, it appears to be nothing more than a pale shape drifting through the abyss. Its movements are slow, almost effortless. It does not seem frightened. It does not seem curious. It simply continues forward, as though it has been swimming through this darkness forever. Then it turns toward us, and we finally see its face. Its snout is long and flat, resembling the blade of an ancient sword. Its skin has a strange pink color, and its small eyes stare into the darkness around us. But the most terrifying feature is still hidden. The goblin shark suddenly opens its mouth. What happens next seems impossible. Its jaws shoot forward with astonishing speed, extending far beyond the front of its head. Rows of razor-sharp teeth emerge from the darkness, as though they belong to some ancient monster from another world. Then, just as quickly, the jaws pull back into place. This is the goblin shark. Scientists often call it a living fossil because its ancestors swam through Earth's oceans more than 100 million years ago. Think about that for a moment. When giant reptiles ruled the oceans, creatures similar to the goblin shark were already hunting in the darkness. Entire species appeared and disappeared. Continents changed shape. Ice ages came and went. Human civilization rose and transformed the planet. Yet the goblin shark survived. But surviving in complete darkness requires extraordinary abilities. Unlike many predators, the goblin shark cannot depend entirely on its vision. Sunlight never reaches these depths, so its eyes alone are not enough. Instead, its body possesses a remarkable ability. Hidden within its skin are tiny organs capable of detecting the electrical signals produced by other living creatures. Even the slightest movement of a fish can reveal its location. In the darkness, nothing can remain hidden for long. Suddenly, the goblin shark stops moving. Something has caught its attention. Our lights sweep across the water, but we see nothing. The shark turns slowly. Its body becomes perfectly still. Then a small fish passes in front of us. For a single second, everything remains quiet. Then the attack begins. The goblin shark launches forward. Its jaws burst outward with incredible force. Its prey disappears, and silence returns once again. Watching this ancient hunter disappear into the darkness, we realize something unsettling. The ocean is not simply another world. It is a world that existed long before us, and perhaps, in many ways, it still belongs to those who came first. The deeper we travel, the more powerful the creatures become. We have already encountered hunters that evolved over millions of years. Creatures with enormous jaws, glowing bodies, and senses so advanced that they can detect life in complete darkness. But suddenly we notice something strange. The ocean around us is full of tiny fish. They are everywhere. Thousands of them move together as though they share a single mind. Their silver bodies reflect the faint light around us, creating the illusion of a living river flowing through the darkness. None of them are famous. No one writes books about them. No one calls them kings of the ocean. No one fears them. And yet, without them, this entire world would collapse. Every great predator depends on them. The giant squid depends on them. The goblin shark depends on them. Whales depend on them. Even human beings, without realizing it, depend on them. For a moment, let us stop thinking about the ocean. Let us think about ourselves. Human history has always celebrated the powerful. Kings, emperors, generals, conquerors, inventors, and leaders have become legends. But what about the millions of ordinary people whose names have been forgotten, the farmers who planted seeds, the builders who raised cities from the ground, the sailors who crossed dangerous oceans, the workers who carried stones, forged metal, and built civilizations with their hands. History rarely remembers them, yet history could not exist without them. The ocean follows the same rule. Every great hunter that terrifies us depends upon countless small creatures hidden beneath the waves. Without the weak, there would be no strong. Without the unnoticed, there would be no celebrated heroes. Without the hunted, there would be no hunters. As we continue our journey, we watch a small school of fish moving gracefully through the darkness. Suddenly they stop. Something is wrong. Their movements become faster. The group begins to separate. Panic spreads instantly. Then the darkness explodes. A predator rushes forward. The water erupts into chaos. Some fish disappear immediately. Others flee in every direction. A few survive. Most do not. Within seconds, everything is over. The survivors gather together once again, and then they continue swimming. No anger, no revenge, no questions, only movement, only survival. Perhaps that is why these tiny creatures have survived for millions of years. They understand something that human beings often forget. The world was never designed to be fair. The ocean does not reward strength alone. It rewards patience. It rewards adaptation. It rewards persistence. The strongest creature is not always the one that survives. Sometimes the survivor is simply the one that continues moving forward. As the school of fish slowly disappears into the darkness, another thought enters our minds. Perhaps the greatest secret of the ocean is not hidden inside its largest monsters. Perhaps it is hidden inside its smallest lives, because even the most terrifying ruler of the sea was once small, vulnerable, and alone. As we continue our descent into the darkness, something begins to feel different. For the first time since entering the deep ocean, we have the strange sensation that we are not simply being watched, we are being studied. At first, we see nothing. Then a cloud of dark ink slowly spreads through the water. A moment later, a shape appears. 8 arms, hundreds of powerful suction cups, 2 enormous eyes, an octopus. Unlike sharks, whales, and many other creatures of the ocean, the octopus possesses no bones. Its body is soft, fragile, and vulnerable. At first glance, it seems almost defenseless, and yet millions of years later, octopuses are still here. Why? Perhaps the answer is intelligence. The octopus does not possess enormous teeth. It does not have powerful claws. It does not move in large groups. Instead, it survives through something much more powerful. It thinks. As we move closer, the creature suddenly changes color. The dark surface of its body transforms into a mixture of green, gray, and brown patterns. Within seconds, it becomes almost invisible. It has not moved. It has simply disappeared. Imagine living in a world where danger could come from any direction, above you, below you, behind you. In such a world, strength alone is not enough. You must learn, you must adapt, you must understand. Perhaps this is why octopuses have fascinated human beings for centuries. They remind us of ourselves. Human beings became rulers of the earth not because they possessed the sharpest teeth or the strongest muscles. We survived because we learned, we observed, we changed. The octopus followed the same path. But the similarities do not end there. Scientists have discovered that octopuses can solve problems, recognize patterns, escape from traps, remember solutions, and even use tools. Think about that for a moment. A creature living in the darkness beneath the waves learned how to reshape the world around it. Some scientists even believe that octopuses experience curiosity. Imagine how extraordinary that is. In the endless darkness of the ocean, a creature evolved that not only survives but also explores. Suddenly, the octopus begins to move. Its arms spread through the water like shadows. Every movement is graceful. Every action appears deliberate. Then it stops. One of its eyes turns toward us. For a few seconds, the entire ocean seems to stand still. Thousands of meters above us, storms rage across the surface of the sea. Ships continue their journeys. Cities remain full of light. But down here, in the eternal darkness, two intelligent species have found themselves face to face. One evolved on land, the other evolved beneath the sea. And yet, for a brief moment, it feels as though both are asking the same question. What else remains hidden in the darkness? The octopus slowly disappears into the abyss, but the feeling remains. Perhaps the greatest mysteries of the ocean are not the creatures we fear. Perhaps they are the creatures that remind us how little we truly know. The deeper we descend into the ocean, the quieter everything becomes. There are no cities here, no roads, no walls, no clocks. Only darkness, silence, and life itself. Then, in the faint green light surrounding us, we notice two tiny creatures moving slowly among the seagrass. At first, they seem ordinary, but then we realize that we are witnessing one of the strangest love stories on Earth. These are seahorses. Unlike many creatures of the ocean, seahorses do not rely on speed or strength. They do not fight to rule the sea, and they do not search for glory. Instead, they hold on to one another. Every morning, many pairs perform a delicate dance. They swim side by side, moving gracefully through the water as though they are following music that no human being can hear. Perhaps this is their way of saying, "I am still here." Perhaps this is their way of saying, "I still choose you." Then the most extraordinary moment arrives. The female carefully places her eggs into a small pouch on the male's body, and suddenly, the roles that human beings have believed in for thousands of years begin to change. The father becomes the protector. The father becomes the shelter. The father carries the future within himself. Days pass, weeks pass, storms come and go. The ocean changes around them, but the father continues to wait. Then, one day, new life enters the world. Hundreds of tiny seahorses begin their journey through the vast ocean, and for the first time, we understand something important. The ocean is filled with creatures that survive through power, but seahorses survive through trust. Perhaps that is why their story feels so familiar. Human beings often believe that love is proven through words. The ocean believes something else. Love is patience. Love is sacrifice. Love is choosing the same soul again and again, even while the world around you changes. As the two seahorses disappear into the darkness, still holding on to the same strand of seagrass, one final thought enters our minds. Perhaps the greatest love story on Earth was never written by human beings at all. Perhaps it was written silently beneath the waves, millions of years ago. The ocean behind us has disappeared. Now we stand at the edge of another world. The wind howls across the endless white landscape. Snow fills the air and the temperature falls far below freezing. There are no forests here. There are no mountains. There is no shelter. Only ice. Only silence. Only survival. And yet, in one of the most unforgiving places on Earth, one of the most extraordinary stories in the animal kingdom unfolds every year. Thousands of emperor penguins gather together. At first glance, they seem ordinary. They cannot fly. They move slowly across the ice. They spend much of their lives swimming through the freezing waters of Antarctica. But appearances can be deceptive, because these remarkable creatures understand something that human beings often forget. Sometimes true strength is quiet. Sometimes courage is invisible. And sometimes love reveals itself not through words, but through sacrifice. The story begins when winter arrives. The temperature drops lower and lower. Powerful winds sweep across the frozen continent. Many creatures flee. The emperor penguin stays. Then something extraordinary happens. The female lays a single egg. Only one. One small, fragile life. One chance. One future. But the harsh conditions create a terrible challenge. If the egg touches the ice for even a few moments, the life inside may be lost forever. And this is where one of nature's greatest acts of trust begins. The mother carefully transfers the egg to the father. The exchange lasts only a few seconds, yet those few seconds can determine the difference between life and death. The father gently balances the egg on the tops of his feet and covers it with a warm fold of skin. From that moment on, his mission begins. The mother leaves. She disappears into the endless distance in search of food. Meanwhile, the father remains behind. The storms grow stronger. The darkness becomes longer. The freezing winds strike his body day after day. Still, he does not move. He does not abandon the egg. He waits. Days pass, weeks pass, then months. The father eats nothing. He survives only through the energy stored within his body. Around him, thousands of other fathers stand together. They move closer to one another, forming a living wall against the freezing wind. Each bird protects the others. No one stands alone. And perhaps that is another lesson nature is trying to teach us. Even the strongest creatures sometimes need one another. As the long winter continues, the fathers remain silent guardians of the next generation. Then one day, a tiny sound breaks the silence. A crack appears. The shell begins to open. A small chick emerges into the frozen world. The father looks down. The long wait is finally over. Thousands of kilometers away, the mother begins her journey home. She has crossed one of the most dangerous environments on Earth, not because she was forced to, not because she was commanded to, but because life itself depends upon her return. At that moment, we understand that this is not merely a story about survival. It is a story about devotion. Human beings often speak of courage as though it belongs only to warriors, explorers, kings, and heroes. But perhaps courage can also be found in silence. Perhaps courage is standing in the freezing darkness for months to protect a life that cannot protect itself. Perhaps courage is continuing to move forward even when no one is watching. The emperor penguin cannot build cities, it cannot write poems, it cannot create great monuments. Yet somehow it understands one of the greatest truths of all. Love is not measured by what we say. Love is measured by what we are willing to endure. And somewhere in the endless white wilderness of Antarctica, thousands of silent fathers continue to teach that lesson every single year. The ocean is full of creatures that seem impossible. Some are enormous, some are terrifying. Some hide in the darkness of the deep sea, while others glide silently through forests of coral. But every now and then, nature creates something so extraordinary that it seems to belong in a fairy tale rather than the real world. And that is exactly what happened with the sea dragon. At first glance, it does not look like an animal at all. Its body is covered with delicate leaf-like structures that move gently with the water. Its long tail twists slowly from side to side, and its small fins are almost invisible. It looks less like a living creature and more like a piece of drifting seaweed carried by the current. And perhaps that is precisely the point. In the ocean, the difference between life and death can be measured in a single second. A predator hesitates, a hunter looks away, and the sea dragon survives. As we move closer, the creature continues its silent dance. It does not fight, it does not roar, it does not chase other animals. Instead, it chooses a different path. It becomes invisible. Human beings often believe that power belongs to the strongest. The ocean believes something else. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in becoming what the world least expects. The sea dragon learned this lesson millions of years ago, but its appearance is not the only remarkable thing about it. Its story becomes even more extraordinary when new life begins. When the time comes, the female carefully transfers her eggs to the male. The father then carries those tiny eggs, protecting them from danger while new life slowly develops. Storms arrive, predators pass nearby, the currents become stronger. Still, the father remains patient. Perhaps there is something beautiful about that. The creature that looks as fragile as a leaf turns out to be strong enough to carry the future itself. As the days pass, the eggs begin to change. Tiny eyes appear. Tiny hearts begin to beat. Tiny lives prepare for their first encounter with the world. And then, at last, the young sea dragons emerge. They enter a world filled with danger, uncertainty, and endless movement. No kingdom awaits them. No shelter protects them. No one promises them safety, and yet they swim forward. Perhaps that is why creatures like these fascinate us so deeply. They remind us that life does not always reward those who are loudest. It does not always reward those who are largest. Sometimes life rewards those who learn to adapt. Sometimes survival belongs to those who remain patient. And sometimes the most extraordinary stories are hidden inside the smallest creatures. The sea dragon slowly disappears into the swaying plants around us. Within seconds, it is gone. The ocean has hidden one of its greatest secrets once again, and we continue our journey into the unknown. And now our journey is coming to an end. We entered this world believing that the ocean was nothing more than water. We were wrong. The deeper we descended, the more extraordinary everything became. We discovered creatures that create light in complete darkness. We found hunters that have survived for millions of years. We watched tiny fish carrying the weight of entire ecosystems upon their fragile bodies. We met octopuses that seemed to think in ways we still struggle to understand. We followed dolphins as they protected one another like members of a family. We witnessed seahorses, sea dragons, whales, and countless other creatures adapting to one of the most difficult environments on Earth. And perhaps, without even realizing it, we learned something about ourselves. The ocean is not simply a place, it is a mirror. Within its endless depths, we see fear, curiosity, intelligence, love, sacrifice, patience, survival, and hope. Every creature we encountered was fighting the same battle, the battle to survive, the battle to protect those they love, the battle to continue moving forward even when the world around them becomes dark and uncertain. Human beings often believe that we stand apart from nature. We build cities, we create machines, we travel into space. We imagine that we have escaped the laws that govern every other living creature. But the ocean reminds us of a simple truth. We never left nature behind. We have always been part of it. Even today, vast regions of the ocean remain unexplored. Entire ecosystems are still waiting to be discovered. New species continue to appear. Ancient mysteries remain hidden beneath the waves. And perhaps the most astonishing fact of all is that we know more about distant planets than we know about the deepest parts of our own world. Maybe that is why the ocean continues to fascinate us, not because it is empty, but because it is full of secrets. As the sunlight slowly returns and we finally rise toward the surface, the darkness behind us begins to disappear. The water becomes warmer, the world becomes brighter. Our journey is over, but the ocean remains exactly as it has always been. Silent, powerful, ancient, waiting patiently for the next person who is brave enough to descend into the unknown. And perhaps, one day, that person will be you.